I could say just one thing to Kyla right now, I think what I would say is that I see you, I hear you, and your life of purpose and meaning, and you deserve to be here. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of True Chats with Shen. This is where we not only react to or talk about things that are trending online, but we try our best to squeeze, if even just a drop of a lesson from it. So, if that's your vibe, if that's something that you think you will like, please consider subscribing. This is your chance to be a part of history. Like, serious thing. Out of 7 billion people, only 999 people can say that they were here before Shen JM got to 1,000 subscribers. The slots are filling up fast. 557 of those places are gone. Be a part of history. No. How much people can say them a part of history? All right, so today I want to talk about Kyhighlah. Kyhighlah, Coco the Thick, many people know her as many things on social media. Now, she is a Jamaican social media personality who is known for doing OF. She has what you say? She do OF. She does adult film content, right? And she always goes viral. One of her most viral moments is when she was talking about popcorn. And more recently, she went viral for talking about her situation, her involvement with reggae star Jacure and how that went down. She also is even more recently going viral for talking about her involvement with Skilly Bang, another dancehall artist, and her interaction with his mother. And although a lot of people know her for that, let me tell you, on me get in tune with Kyla and start to really pay attention to her content because me used to see her all along, past her on social media, but me not really consume certain content. So while I would pass her and I know who she is and know of her, me never really, because I know something me interested in her, me never really pay much attention to her. Up to this day, I don't know what she said about popcorn because me genuinely not pay attention to them something. The reason why I started consuming her content is because I realized that she was talking a lot about mental health and trying to destigmatize mental health. At least that's what I think she's doing. And that's something that interests me so much and I think is so necessary for the Jamaican community, just Jamaica overall. We do need to destigmatize mental health issues and the how we go about taking care of these issues. And I felt like she was being really open and candid about her specific situation. And I really just did rate that fair. I rate it and I go through and I watch other stuff. While me we like watch her the things that now that me know of her and me really pay attention to her now, I will watch the things that she's saying about the artist, but that's really not what I like her for. I realize a lot of people kinda attack like them are a lot of people are piling down on her. A lot of people are using the opportunity, as always, for like beat her down. Once you see somebody is getting beat down, you want to beat them down more for some reason. And I realize that people that take that approach there to her. It seemed like every time she come online, she talk about something, she get ridiculed, she not talk about it. And I mean, I really love that. So I saw her talking about something and I just really wanted to give that portion, that part of her story a little more highlight because everybody just keep on talking about the same thing. I'm gonna think we kind of address the root of certain issues or why certain things might be the case. So I just didn't want to talk about it. Now let me just, before I even talk about anything, let me address my own biases. I am not somebody who promotes or is here for the promotion of women doing sex work. I understand that it's something that women do. It's a job like any other jobs. Is it a job I like? No. But all that means is that I would not do it for myself. I will not me not try to look down on somebody. And yes, probably in at the moment I probably feel a certain way, but when it comes to like the broader situation, I'm not gonna look down upon somebody simply because I want them to feel a living. No, your actions outside of that is something that concerns me. I also have a soft spot for dark skinned black women. Another bias of mine is dark skinned black women and the plight of dark skinned black women. So while I have one bias that might not be in her favor, I also have one that is in her favor. And in essence, I really just want to see dark skinned women win, and I can relate to some of the things that she spoke about and she speaks about. So I just wanted to give her a moment of me can dignify her, but just dignify her on my page. I don't have to like what you do for a living, to learn something from you, to listen to your situation and sympathize with you based on what you've been through. So that's wow, a very long introduction, but that's really what this is. All right. So she had a series on her channel talking about how her upbringing was, what her life was with her mother, and how her mother views her, or how she feels her mother views her. And there was so much that stood out in that story for me. There's so much I learned about her, and so much that it highlighted about Jamaican culture. And I I have some notes again, the trusty dusty red book of notes. And I just wanted to, because it's a long story, it's a 4-part series. Hopefully we can do this in a 30 minutes. That sound like I can do it in a 30 minutes. So hopefully I can. And I'm gonna look down for my notes because that's why I'm gonna write them. I'm not gonna always look on the screen, unfortunately, because I really want to forget. I don't. And let me just say as well, I cannot tell her story better than she can. There might be some things that I misinterpret or whatever. So I would implore you to go over to her YouTube channel and watch it coming from her mouth. You know what I'm saying? And there are other videos that she talks about mental health as well, not just this series. So I'm not sending over the girl page, go harass her. If you don't know so not go harass her, no bother with it. That's not the vibe that I'm trying to send out here. She is the best person to tell her story, but me just want to give it some light here for however many people will see it here. So she grew up in Portland with her mother and her grandfather. Her father was not in her life physically, but he basically took care of her financially. She talked about how he would send down the latest clothes, like the most popping toys. She had a large toy collection. He would send down a lot of things for her, and he made sure that she had it. She said that nothing was too good for him to send down for her. She didn't feel loved by her mom from an early age. She said her mother would take the things that her father bought for her and try to take them for herself. So even a small shirt where say certain things are for kids, she would have tried to force herself into it so that the child wouldn't have it. And I think she saw that as her mother trying to take good things away from her. That's just my opinion. A lot of this will have my opinion sprinkled in it. She said along with that, her mother was also physically abusive towards her. And she says she remembered it getting really bad when she was between 6 to 8 years old. She said she was beaten brutally. She said she was stripped and beaten. Her mother stood on her, and based on how she described her mother was on the thicker side, and she would stand on her. She said she was beaten in the bathroom, fell down, hit her head, and her mother would just beat her constantly and for anything. So one time she said she was beaten because she kept going over the neighbor's house. So the neighbor had small girl children, and when you're a child, for most people, me never really get the opportunity for God children's house to play. My mother was very protective of me, but for most other children in the community, they would go to that one house, play with the kids. So she had neighbors that had a lot of girl children, and she loved to go over the house to play with the kids. She said even though she realized that the mother in the family was not very fond of her, she liked how the children interacted with her, and so she wanted to play with the kids. But her mother beat her for going over there to play with the kids, and so she kind of started getting more attached to the toys. So the toys, the dolls, those became her friends. She said one time she there was something at school where she said she don't remember if it was her math because she don't like math. She don't like math based subjects, and me can definitely relate. Math, I mean, me can do it, but I know my strong suit. But math, she don't remember if it was a math thing or her handwriting because she said she write like a doctor. Everybody knows that when you talk about doctor writing, at the crab too, but them very intelligent, right? She says she don't remember if it was a math situation or a situation concerning her handwriting, but her mother was angry about the performance at school, and as a punishment for that, she took all the toys that she had. Remember, I told you that her father, he would send down all the latest toys for her. She said she got toys from other people. She had a wide toy collection, glass dolls, and in addition to her having such a large collection of dolls, remember that these are now her friends because her mother told her to not go. She beat her for going over to the neighbor's house. Her mother took every single one of the toys and burnt them all. No, alright then. So, me not say you have to send your child go over there go play. Me not say you have to like make your child have all the things. But I think there was a different way to go about that. I mean, even if you don't want the child to have them again, sometimes, although I'm not think if you use charity as punishment, but sometimes you would have give them away or you'd have lock them away until you see a change in behavior, makes you prohibit her from, playing with the toys. But I think that burning them sent a totally different, very strange message, and she interpreted it, in my opinion, that way as well. So in addition to being physically abusive, she said that she witnessed her mother be very promiscuous. When I say promiscuous, because I know that a lot of people would say, all right, then that's why she do what she do, which may have my own thoughts on that. But she said the promiscuity that her mother did was not for money, it was really just for pleasure. She just like have whole heap of man, and she have whole heap of man. Remember say the father and mind them from foreign. All right. So she said one time she remembered that she was in the yard playing with the kids, right? And them in the yard play hide and seek. And she said her mother come up in the yard with one man who she never see before. She said the man named Donovan. I don't know how she remember the man name. But she said the man named Donovan for sure how it really cemented in her mind. Tutus, her mother in the house with the man. She start hear heap of commotion, screaming, bedded a lick up and place, screaming. So it was very clear, like from an adult standpoint, that the mother was having the coitus in the room, while all of the neighborhood kids in the yard around, and she had been so loud, so obnoxious with it. She not even traffic, and she said this went on for 3 hours. Now me I say, alright, when you're a child, time feels slow. So I'm really upset she perceived it as 3 hours, but it wasn't really 3 hours. Cause that crazy. She said them stop, them rest. She would hear them attack, start again. 3 hours. They putting them in the yard around. She in the yard around with the kids. It got so bad. She was so traumatized that at one point the children tried. She started crying, and the other children were trying to console her because them she said it did really affect her. She said after that she never see that man again. So her mother just loved man apparently. And let me just say, in the midst of this, I have to acknowledge that it is very, very much possible and likely that her mother was also traumatized as a child, because later down she talks about the possibility of her mother also having mental health issues. She would talk to herself a lot, and not in the way where you talk to yourself. She said she would like literally just be whispering for a time to herself. So I understand that it might be possible that her mother was going through things as well. But I think that especially when you have a child, and it's so easy to say, yes, you have to do the right thing. But in all honesty, when you have a child, if you want the best for your child, you gotta do what you need to do for yourself and make sure say you can do your best for your child, right? Me give her grace, but not that much, because do a leap. Anyways, And she said this is just one of the many men that her mother entertained throughout her youth. She said that she can recall having at least 10 stepfathers. I mean, I don't know if these are just the people where she actually in a relationship with, and this not include like people should have just casually have sex with, or is everybody. I don't know. As I said before, her father was funding their life. But once the man realized, say, she have all of them money to entertain, she him basically cut the supply. And so her mother had to start working. So her mother went from being a kept woman who all she did was stay at home, do her nails, do her hair, have the, all the cute stuff, just being around. She went from that to having to now fully fund her own lifestyle, and she never liked that. She said after she started working, I guess that is where at 7-8 where the real terrible abuse started happening to her. Kyhighlah admits that she was not like the perfect child, and that's something that you will realize with her throughout the series or throughout just watching her videos, that she will say, hey, I am not perfect, I make mistakes, I do things too that might frustrate, and I think that's one of the reasons why I kind of like her too. Cause you can see, say, when you acknowledge stuff, I think that's just the first step in you trying to change it, trying to make a change and do something better. So the fact that she would acknowledge, say, me never perfect either. Me know say me never perfect. I like that too. So she said she was not a perfect child. She remember once when she started stealing from her mother coins from her mother, and then that escalated into her stealing like bigger, more money from her grandfather. And she said that when she stole this money, she used it to buy gifts and food and toys for other people. So it feel like say she had tried to forget. And I don't think she said this in her series, but to me it feel like she had tried to get love from other people outside with the things where she buy, because she never get that type of attention there at home. When her mother find out she never beat her, this is the one time when she said her mother not beat her for the things, but she said her mother didn't beat her, but her mother had such an emotional reaction to it that she didn't do it ever again. A little later down, her mother started a relationship with this man called Steve, and Steve remained in their life for a little while. Steve was our main stepfather. I don't know if she did have other man with Steve, but Steve was her main stepfather for a little while. But however, she said Steve was a junkie or a drunkard, and he did not contribute anything to the home. Him never lived there still, them just go and come, but him never contribute nothing to her at all. She said at the time when her mother was with Steve, she was about 8 years old, and so when you're a child, you're kind of afraid of the darkness. You don't really want to sleep at night time, and she was no different. So she would come in her mother's room, and she would stay with her mother, watch movies and stuff until she fall asleep. She said most of the time her mother would take her, she'd just make she sleep in the room, and then sometimes she would be on the bed with our big 8-year-old conscious daughter. When you're 8, you understand where you're going. You can't hear if you wake up and say, Mommy, what's, you probably don't know what is sex, but you can't see something happen where out of the norm, right? And her mother would have lay down on the bed with she and Steve, and I do the things them on the bed with she in it same way as a big grown conscious child. She said one morning, because Steve a drunk at him, would come in at the hours of morning, and one morning Steve come in at the room, come in at the house, and the mother get up off of the bed and left she and Steve. Oh my God. The mother come out of the bed and left she and Steve in the bed. She said, two she did there. Steve start to feel around, and start to touch her in a ways that are not appropriate, right? She said she do not say nothing to Steve. She get up off of the bed and go straight to her mother. She said apparently Steve and her mother have a talk. Her mother come back to her and tell her, say, Steve said it's a mistake and it never did supposed to happen. And that was the end of that. Steve was still allowed to come back in the house and stay with them. And in there with her until she migrate eventually. She said that was not the only time that he was weird. She said them live a country. Them used to go river, go wash clothes and so. And she said when the man did there, when they at the river, he would basically expose him entire self in her presence. So she was seeing his whole body. Where you expose yourself in the presence of a child for? You can't go nowhere. We know how river set up a Jamaica. There's always a little rock stone. And if there's not, put on underpants, wear your clothes, wear your shorts. What you do that for? What you do that for? It feel like you're trying to send a message. And that disgusting. All of that, our mother have the man in the place same way. And she never said he touched her again. But either way, you're weird, Steve. You're weird and you should have never do that. And your mother even weirder for you allow you to still there and you do them there something there. She said she did hate Steve so much. Should have even write him letter and tell him to go and left her mother alone. Don't talk to her mother, leave her, you not do nothing at the house, you not contribute nothing to the house. Why you there here? Leave my mother alone. And she said one time her mother find the letter and tear her up. Beat her because she write a letter to Steve and tell him to leave her alone. She said eventually her mother got laid off from her job, and so she said she got seek opportunity to work overseas. And this is where the grandfather comes. There's so much about the grandfather. I'm not gonna include everything. I'm gonna just keep it focused on Kyhighlah in this video. So much about even the grandfather where I'm not gonna get into. Apparently her grandfather was someone who enabled her mother's behavior like all the time. So she said she didn't need money to sort out the overseas work program thing, right? She get the money from her father. She name off the money. She spend the money and don't do with it what it's supposed to do. She said she balled to the man, the ball back to the father gave her back the money, and so she was able to process her visa to go overseas to work. Her mother migrated just after she did her GSAT. And she said when her mother go, she tell her say she gonna go away and come back. And her mother never came back to Jamaica. Now, what you do? What you think you do to a child when you make them a promise like that as their mother? Because we know say yes, she might be abusive, yes, all of that might be the case. However, that's her mom. She gonna want to have her mother there. She gonna want for, at least there was a little stability in that her mother was there. She lived with her mother and stuff. There was that. And she did there long for her mother come back. And you not come back. When you do GSAT, you're about 12. You just never come back at all. I feel like that was also another thing. Maybe she didn't plan to never come back. But either way, you can't make promises like that to a child. You have to know what you do. She said when her mother migrated, she went to live with her grandmother. And based on the treatment there, she said she could tell that they didn't want her there. So she preferred to go to her paternal grandmother's house. She said those cousins, she related to them more. She was better able to communicate with them and them treat her much better. So she did prefer for the there. So sometimes she'd go to the other grandmother, but her primary residence was with, I think, her mother's mother. Along with her mother's mother living there were other persons living there, other family members. I think these were her aunts, and they didn't treat her very well. She said they would call her names like Bull, they would call her a bitch. She said they would have cut up her school shoes, they wrote in her school books, they ate out her snacks, and they would, like, when she in the bathroom a bed, they would have bust open the door and tell her, say, she not lock the door, so she not have no privacy. She not have no peace in her place of residence. In addition to that, she said her family was very colorist. She said even her mother was very colorist. She would call black people the N-word. She said her mother went on to marry someone who was Caucasian. And she said her other family members, she saw them favor people who were light-skinned or even lighter than her. So with everything that was going on, she started to feel like she did not deserve anything good. So every time she had something, they would take it away from her. She couldn't have peace, nothing at all. So she said she never feel like she deserved nothing good. And each time she would try to call her mother and tell her that this is what's happening to me, this is how they're treating me. And she said her mother rejected her and she told her that she was lying. She was lying on her sisters and she don't want to hear her problems. Obviously, she's going to feel alone. She felt alone. She didn't feel like she was protected. She never feel like she have anybody. In addition, she said her mother would tell her that she's worthless and that she should have thrown her down a banana root. Me don't know what that mean, but me feel like she said when she born, she should have just dash her somewhere. And, like, why you would have tell her? You know, some man for go down. I'm seeing enough people at, in a, not this specific like situation, but people love to talk about, oh, I just saw your mother, you just saw people talk. No, me never hear my mother. Me have to thank God kiss the ground when my mother walk pan, because not even not close to that. Me never yet hear my mother say to me. And even though me see other things, me never see nobody when me in a my circle ever talk to them pitney in a them deck type of way. Them me can't relate to it. So if you see so much people try to justify so much disgusting behavior towards children, it really sick my stomach. Anyways, she used to do well in school, right? You remember say at high school she didn't know. So she did well at school, but she still never liked maths. So she said that she did so well one year that she came, I think she said she came fifth in her class and she got an award for it. And she had tell her mother, and she said her mother was not as happy as she thought she would have been. And she said with everything that was going on at home, she started falling back in her schoolwork and her depression became more noticeable at this time. She couldn't eat or sleep or find the energy to do anything. She didn't realize at the time that it was depression, but at the depression, you know, when you're really in a one state, you really just can't bother for bother. Even though she remembers herself thinking a certain way or making certain actions when she was a lot younger. She said the self-analyzing thoughts became louder when she was 13. She went to the hospital. She was there for 2 weeks and she was officially diagnosed with depression. She said her family, and as a Jamaican, we know that this is the case for a lot of situations. She said her family write it off as somebody at OBR and said she was just being rebellious. Even with all of this, her mother never sympathized with her. She said her mother tell her so she just can't wait for she dead so she not feel worry about it, and she not feel bother with her problem them once again. So you know, so she got even more feel like she don't have nobody at all. So she spent 2 weeks in the hospital. You know, so eventually she got go back to school. She said when she went back to school, the depression, I think it started to affect her school life. She became secluded and you know, she never taught much and she was bullied by the other kids. She lost her virginity at 14 years old to one of the guys at school, and this guy spread a rumor around the school so the girl gave him a STD and him take her virginity. Like, what she said, the situation where Eva where makes that boy take her virginity, me know for a fact she never said this, but me know say it related to the fact say she in a depressive state. When you're depressed, you really just can't, you just do anything, right? And I think that's what happened to her. And she saw for book up on a boy was so disgusting that he would have spread a rumor like this on her and tell everybody. So the whole school started for chastise her and deal with her away. And she really wanted to transfer. So she spoke to her mother about it, and her mother just never interested for do nothing. She never cared. So she said Kyhighlah contacted CDA on her own and them actually get her in a teach field. However, she did have one of them look a banger phone there. You know, if you know me and her the same age, so she did have a peanut phone. We did have one too. So apparently the phone was very bang and not just regular bang. Cause they might try to reach out to her, they could not get to her. And so she missed out on the transfer opportunity. She went back to school. She went to school. She continued going to school, and she had a psychiatrist and the guidance counselor at her school. She said they showed her love and they're a big part of why she is still here today. She said they made her feel included. I don't remember which one of them she said, but exactly, but one of them she can remember going to the beach with them, being included in their family events, and that made her feel very good. However, the bullying persisted at school and she went back to the CDA. She got a transfer to, I think, Port Antonio High School. Me never write that down. I think that's what she said. She got another transfer to Port Antonio High School and she was so excited to finally get the opportunity to leave. I think she went to Happy Grove High. However, when she went to her mother to talk about the opportunity, she said her mother said, if you are gonna transfer, you have to go pay for everything yourself. Her mother said she not pay for nothing, so she missed out on another opportunity to transfer. And the depression obviously worsened. She said she started having manic episodes. She said she would destroy her she remember she's living with her grandfather now. She would destroy the house, cut her hair. She said she would have walked from no till she just a walk. She just a walk. She would walk far distances, and she even ran away from home once. She really just wanted her mother's attention, and her mother just never interested to give her any positive, nothing at all. At one point, she said she missed out on high school for a whole year, and her mother still never showed her concern. She went back to her grandmother's house because she had a lot of resentment for her grandfather, and in her manic episode, she did a lot of things that were targeted towards him. And so the man could have bother and him send her go back go live with her grandmother. She said a lot of the people who were really on her case the first time they had left, but people were still there that were still picking on her, so she was still being picked on at that house. CXC time now. Remember, so the girl is a brilliant girl. She missed out school, yes. So that got, be a hindrance to her. In addition to that, she say her mother say she have to do accounts because her mother used to do accounts, so she said she have to do accounts. She never liked maths. So she has said she don't really want to do that. Her dream job is to be either to go into law or to do fashion design. She said she was really good at visual arts as well, and she wanted to do either law or fashion designing. Her mother said if she gonna do them there, she not pay for no subject, so she had to go ahead and do the business subjects, principles of business and accounts. She never good pan the math. Say no that go already with accounts. However, while doing the business subject, she discovered that she had a passion for entrepreneurship. So she liked that aspect of it, but she still was not doing well in the subject. Needless to say, she never passed her subject them. She never passed the ones that were really mattered. She never get for graduate high school. Her mother actually paid for her to go back and do a few more subjects, and while she was, I guess she said she saw somebody doing makeup, I think online, and she liked it, so she asked her mother for help her for pay for go Cosmo school or do some courses for do makeup, and her mother said she not pay for nothing. So I don't know if she didn't up do the subject them where her mother pay for, but she said after that she said she went to look for work. She said she got denied in every place that she applied for. So with no hope, with getting no prospects, she went to the club and started stripping. And that's her childhood story. She made it clear in other videos of hers that she does not blame her lifestyle, her adult film lifestyle, on her childhood. She not really made the correlation between both of them. She said she made a conscious decision to make the kind of content that she does, and she not blame nobody for it. However, I don't think it's far-fetched to make the connection between her seeing all these things, her having a low self-image because of how she was treated and talked to when she was a child, her seeing her mother be promiscuous, her being abused, having low self-esteem because of the colorist comments of her family members. I don't think it would be far-fetched to make the connection that she went into this line of work, and then also the fact that she was not supported in the way that she wanted to and she wasn't able to find work. All of it connects to her being exposed and being brought into this lifestyle. Many of the people who are filmmakers of that type, and also people who are promiscuous in general, they usually have a story of this sort. So even though she's not saying that she is blaming her upbringing for her life choices, me I gonna make the correlation because I think everything is connected. I'm realizing she equate a lot of things to Jamaican society. I don't think it's a Jamaican thing. But what I realize in all instances is that if you're not the perfect victim, it's like nobody cares about your story, nobody takes you seriously, and you are not treated with the same kind of dignity. And it's so hard to be the perfect victim. it's not one thing, because one person will have all these attributes, they are looked down on. Another person might have all these attributes and they are highlighted, uplifted. Sometimes political climates, a lot of things can change what the perfect victim looks like. But all I know is that if you're not considered the perfect victim, nobody cares about your story. And that's very unfortunate. I see a lot of people trying to bash her, not under these specific videos, but just in general. And I don't like it. Because I'm thinking of the little girl that she was. She's not a little girl anymore, but I am thinking of the little girl who felt that kind of feeling, who didn't feel supported, and she is seeking healing. I think that's what all of this is about. The talking about, the relaying of the story, everything that she's doing now, I think it's because the little girl inside her wants to be healed. She genuinely me believe, so she genuinely want to feel better in herself. The feel better might look different on the outside to you, like how you would act if you feel better. It might not look that way for her, but I genuinely believe that she wants healing. I truly hope she find it. In one of her video, them she said she not spend no more money on therapy this year. I'm really hope say that was a joke. Me really hope say you not stop go therapy. Me really hope you not stop go therapy, because it might not feel in the moment that it's working, but I think it's a privilege to be able to go to therapy, and I think that you should. I feel like say if once you have money, I feel like you have to go, because say fixing mental health is a thing reserved for the elites in Jamaica. I say that all the time. But if you have the resources for go, please go. Please go. It's not for anybody else, it's for you. Really upset just that talking at the heat at the moment. Me can't tell you what to do with your life, but I really wish say you would have just keep going to therapy. She addressed so many things in her video. I think so many people are just so focused on the things, the scandalous type of things that she talks about. But she talks about a lot of issues that the Jamaican society faces that we need to address. We need to address them. To be honest, even though a lot of people act like them is this moral high ground, because for them things that highlighted are them act like say them is above here and the girl is below the dirt. I feel like morally, she's more morally sound than a lot of people in Jamaican society. No, do I agree with the way she does everything? No. And that's because me not agree with the way nobody do everything. Even myself, I make well a mistake and look back and say, say she could have do with that different. Me not agree with how everybody go about everything, and not different about she. Me not agree with how she go about everything. But if you really listen, for not just feel like tear her down, but listen to what she has said, and you can learn so much, and we realize that there's so much that we could be doing to better the society if we really did a focus on the right things. And she highlight them something that I feel like nobody not paying no mind. My thing on this channel is really about just nurturing the future generations, right? And I believe wholeheartedly say like we need to be so much more mindful about having children. Having a child is not having a puppy. It's not having this cute little doll where you can dress up. This is somebody's real life. And when you have somebody's life placed in your hands for nurture and take care of, you can't just do and say and act and just do anything when you want. You're ruining people's life. You don't have to have children. You can lock up. I don't know what contraceptives used to look like in a 1996 when we did a ban. And if you do bring the child, and you know say whatever, you have to make sure so you make a conscious decision for better yourself for that child. You ruin people. You ruin people. You ruin people existence. I mean, I say our existence is like whatever. I mean, I try for. I'm saying that you make people's existence a living hell when you do certain things, make certain decisions, and deal with the kids in these ways. It's disgusting. You don't have to have kids. You not have kids, nothing more than you think say the man they'll just mind you forever, and you see say the man have a little thing and you say, alright, if me have him pitney, him will just give me. And it never work out. You can't a real people them and a dolly them. So we can't just have kids and I deal with them any type of way. Them are human beings. When it's like I don't know how to explain it because people have sympathy for kids, but in our way, them also kind of not. They don't. It's like them deal with kids because they are vulnerable. Them deal with them anyway. Expect them to just take it because you know adult versus child. And you can't do certain things. You can't say certain things. No, no. Allow them alone. If you know say you're not gonna do it the way you do it, if you know say you have no desire for like be a better person, low pitney and loan. It's not by force. I truly believe say all of we will make it panderet ya, make it for a reason. If you're gonna bring a child come, you just know say you have to do the right thing. Even at the expense of yourself and your own needs and your own wants. I think every single person is deserving of love and respect. The very least we can do is respect each other. Working in the field that I worked in, I came into contact with so many people. I'm going to make an effort, very much so make a conscious effort to not treat nobody different from the others. Me not care if you're dressed to whose foot are you in a dirty clothes. Me go treat you just the same. And I feel like every single person deserves respect. Me not have to like everything boy you, but we have to respect each other. And you know what too? Now that when like when I talk about respect, I talk about respectability, politics. I know say if night could have turned to day and people say the things them we not do, the things them we not do and not indulge in, while in the day I call up people and I deal with people and the way in our art, if we even not do certain things, we are in our art dirty and disgusting. If night could have turned to day, some of you would have been. Some of you would have just, you wouldn't even have the courage to even like show on the face no way. Me I beg God, cause me know me's not a perfect human being and things yeah, but me try my best to treat everybody with dignity and respect because that's what I want for myself. And if we are Christian, make we also look for how Jesus did treat the woman with the five husbands. He never did with her like a dog. So not hide behind Christianity for be disgusting people. Because if Jesus our example, he never teach we to deal with people like that. We not all have to agree, but we could have some respect. Kyhighlah, you are loved. And I know you're not really into like, you not really like when people say you go to church or no Christianity or whatever, but I feel like find Jesus for yourself, girl. Cut out the noise from people. Find Jesus for yourself. Like the congregation and so that can come afterwards. But I feel like if you find Jesus for yourself, girl, I mean I said it as somebody with final loss, and in one stage, you know, when I try to find again. If you find Jesus for yourself, girl, the peace what you look for, you're not gonna find it in a people. The validation what you look for, you're not gonna find it in a people. Because you see, people, the Bible said the heart of man is desperately wicked. You're not gonna find it in a people. One piece of advice, because I am not educated enough for give you no kind of advice for your mental. I need some of that myself, right? But one piece of advice I could have give you is to find God for yourself. Not the noise of people, not Christians, not Christianity, because we know how that go on, how people fickle. But find God for yourself and know the peace what you look for. Because I know that you look for. You're going to find it in a God. Yeah. Anyways, alright. Thank you so much for watching this video. I appreciate you so much for watching. Thank you so much for I said that already. Alright. Thank you so much for watching. I will definitely see you in the next one.